Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in, please. This is my review on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 10, meditation and mediation. When I tell you overall, I would give this episode I don't know, a B minus, but the A plus goes to Miss Angela. Baby, she get an A plus, 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 plus. When I tell you this lady is a pro. She is subtle with her bone collector ways. I know she was like, you gonna play with my man? I'm about to play with your life. Do not even go there. Don't even come for me because I didn't send for you. So now it's on. She played a mean game of chess. And she said, if you mess with my man, I got a plan. Gotta love Angela. When I tell you she better come back next season, she better come back. If there's a next season, because from my understanding, they haven't even announced if it's going to be renewed or not, which is quite interesting. But let's get into it. So first things first, we have Kelly talking to her daughters. If I could be honest, it was a cute scene, but I was quite bored. I was definitely quite bored with what she had to say. I mean, it's the typical thing with Kelly. She wants to make sure that she shows that she's an overall balanced woman. It is what it is. But let's get to the real drama in the situation, okay? Let's get to the messy. Are you going to say it, Chris? I am. Messy hoes. Messy hoes, messy marauders, and messy bottoms. Okay. I am talking about Ralph. I am talking about Shamea, and I am talking about Porsha. So apparently, allegedly, freaking Ralph wanted to talk to Shamea about his podcasting idea. Y'all, I felt like that was some straight BS. Okay. It was BS. And let me tell you why it was BS. Apparently, they did have a podcast together before, but it's not like Shamea is known for podcasting. It's not like she has a successful podcast. This was all a plan for them to be messy. Point blank, period. I don't care what y'all say, but that's just what it was. And Ralph, at the end of the day, you are just truly showing how much of a messy bottom you are. So she sits up there, she's like, well, you got to make sure as far as sponsorship is concerned, you got to have it where you can get enough sponsorships. Girl, bye, Shamea, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, which it is true that she needs sponsorship. But at the same time, you could tell this was just a setup. So then, of course, Porsha walks in, all right? And for whatever reason, the whole conversation, of course, is about Drew. And as much as I find Drew boring, it seems that they cannot keep Drew's name off of their damn tongues. It's ridiculous at this point. And this was a very grimy, trifling scene. The audacity of Porsha to have an issue with her dealing with Dennis, and yet at the same time, she sat up there and made sure that she filmed with Ralph. Girl, bye. And my thing is, what we've seen with Drew and Dennis is nowhere near messy and trifling of what you actually did in this scene. Asking questions that you should not ask because it was none of your damn business. And this is why I say more and more, even with Porsha's own fans, she is becoming very unlikable. Can you guys hear me? Make sure you guys hit the like button and put the thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me. Because sometimes this stuff be tripping. But with that being said, yeah, so she's sitting up there talking about how, well, why did you, who decided to give the divorce first? Who decided to file first? And Ralph was like, I filed first. And so they were like, well, why did you file? He said, because she sat up there and had an affair with Ty. And then we see Ty. we see Ty. And I'm like, here we go again. Like, she truly is considered the stud pass around. She on 2 shows on VH1. Now she's showing up on Bravo. Ty, just say that you want to get into the TV world. Like, find a reality show that you could create so you could be the head person and the executive producer, because it's given thirst bucket at this point that you want to be on all of these shows. Now, with that, they was like, but is that really true? And Ralph said she admitted it to me. But what we saw was she was just pretty much saying she has a friend that she truly likes and cares for. She also has a friend that makes her smile. Now, we all know that Drew can be passive aggressive, but do we really know that they actually have freaky tales? I don't know. I think he's just trying to find any reason to sit up there and divorce Drew. He claimed that he started, I think, dating her. And after 3 months, did he say 3 months he ended up dating her? 5 months, they ended up getting married. In 8 months, she ended up pregnant. Something crazy like that. But at the same time, it's still no excuse. Y'all both grown. You decided to do that. And he was like, I'm not liking the person that she's becoming. And so Porsha's like, have you ever cheated on her? Have you ever cheated on her? And have you ever sniffed another woman? And he was like, yeah. She was like, where did you sniff her? Porsha, really? And this is what I'm saying. Shamea and Porsha are getting everything they freaking deserve. Hey, Veronica, let me know if you can hear me in the chat too. They deserve everything that's coming to them. They deserve everything, because Shamea was a part of this plan too. She was a part of this plan. This was a so-called get back with her, I guess, filming with Dennis. She wanted to bring that up and claim that Drew actually was requesting freaky tales, I guess, trying to pay her production debt off by trying to give Dennis freaky tales. I don't know if I believe that, y'all, if I can be honest. I don't know, but you guys let me know in the chat if you actually believe it. Then she went on to say, and she talked about my daughter. Now, we know that it was subtle shade, what she said about how her production or whatever could pay for PJ's tuition or whatever from college. But at the same time, it wasn't that deep, as much as Porsha done said about Drew and other people. But again, I personally think Ralph, Shamea, and Porsha all got together and sat up there and said, we're going to do this scene as payback for Drew. When I tell you, Drew, as much as she bores me, is the star in their lives. Like, they are fans, honey. They are fans. Like, it is ridiculous that whole dang on conversation was about Drew. That wasn't even supposed to, that podcast stuff was just a fake reason for them to get together to talk about Drew. That's it. That's all. But at the end of the day, look, could sit up there all you want. Shamea, though, sat up there and wanted to bring up that apparently whatever Porsha eats, she shits, or she says something like that, saying that, I don't understand. They bring up Angela, of course. They always talk about the Chicago girls. She was like, I don't understand Angela forgiving you, but I laughed, and literally now she doesn't want to forgive me or really talk to me. Yeah, she doesn't, because she's playing a mean game of chess, and I love it. I love it. It's like old school Real Housewives of Atlanta, honey. I am loving Angela on this show, baby. Love it, love it, love it. So at this point, we move on to Angela, and she is at one of her investment properties, child. And she ends up inviting Kelly, of all people. And we clearly see at this point that Kelly goes where the wind blows. She don't care. She ain't loyal to anyone. And she has the audacity to say Britt was her bestie this episode. Did y'all hear that? And I was like, bestie where? How long have y'all even known each other? Are you just trying to say bestie for the show? Like, come on now. But she ends up going to the house, and Angela shows her around. Angela's talking about she's $2 million in debt from all the investment properties. But Kelly is playing it smart, and she said that she wants to stay on Angela's good side, and that's a smart move, honey, because Angela will get that ass. So at that point, when she's walking her around the house looks good. But baby, I must say that closet did look tragic. For that house to be that big, that house was tragic. I mean, that closet was tragic as all hell. But they end up sitting down and talking. And of course, Kelly's trying to butter her up like, Angela, you look like really, really pretty. You look really, really pretty today. And Angela's like, oh, just today? She's like, no, you look good all the time, but you look really, really pretty. And so at that point, they end up talking. And so Angela, she ends up being transparent, but I haven't seen a time where Angela hasn't been transparent. But she talks about how, Charles is her best friend. Mind you, they have a big age gap because Angela says that she's 43 years old. Now, I at first was like, 43, okay. But apparently, there have been people who went to high school with her, and they are verifying that, yes, she is 43. She is the class of 1999. And Charles Oakley was born in 1963. So you do that math, okay? But she says her husband is her best friend. They have been married, I think she said, for 8 years, been together for 10 years. And so, Kelly was like, oh, that's great that he's your best friend. She was like, yeah, honey. So that's where I was kind of looking at you like, bitch, what you trying to do? Because you trying to make it seem like you done heard some stuff about my man. So she talks about the story about the baby. Okay. And the situation with the baby. Hey, Shayla girl. Yes, yes, yes. The situation with the baby. She said she ended up going to an event. It was a Wendy Williams event. Her and Charles ended up going. And so this was around the time that Wendy's ex-husband, the rumors have been out there and the truth have been put out there that he ended up having a baby on her, the little girl. And so Angela went to her and said, it's just the baby. You know what I'm saying? It's just the baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, who is this? Okay, anyways, keep moving. So yeah, she's like, it was just a baby. And so Wendy was like, wait, have you been through this before? And so Angela said, yeah, I have. But she automatically assumed, Wendy's messy ass automatically assumed she was talking about Charles. But she was like, it wasn't about Charles. It was about her daughter's father who did that. So at that point, Wendy being Wendy put it out there apparently about Charles Oakley having a baby on Angela, and it spread like wildfire. And she was like, that is not the case. Now, the question is, do you believe that? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Do you actually believe what she is saying? Now, it is very possible in the hands of Wendy Williams, but do you believe what she's saying? Now, she did admit that there has been some infidelity. She said, especially after the Madison Square Garden situation, because if you guys don't know, Charles Oakley got like literally kicked out of Madison Square Garden because I guess the beef between the owner of the Knicks and him. So I guess apparently during that time, he felt embarrassed. He needed to feel validated. And because of that, he ended up cheating. But she said, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. Yes, you are. But she was like, but at the end of the day, we've gotten over it. So Angela, again, being very transparent about the situation, which I was like, okay, all right, girl. So at that point, she decides to spill some tea. Now, I personally feel this was a mean game of chess because Angela, I think the way that she puts down people's guards is by giving her own tea before she spills someone else's tea. So she sits up there and talks about Shamea. Because for the life of me, when I was watching her tell Kelly her business, I said, why are you telling her your business? You know she's not your friend. But this was really the chess move here. When she says, well, Shamea, has issues with Porsha. She says that, we ended up going out after, that dinner. And she was saying how she's hurt that Porsha didn't go to her wedding. And, how, she's afraid to, talk to Porsha. And so at that point, Kelly is like, Oh my gosh. Like, why would she say that? And that's her best friend. Like, why is she having a conversation about her best friend behind her back? The same way Porsha sat up there and allowed Phaedra to sit up there and talk behind Shamea's back. But anyways, let's keep it moving. So at that point, that's where Angela started to put, you know what I'm saying, them little pebbles of pettiness up in that bitch and was like, oh, let the games begin, honey. Let the games begin. So at that point, Kelly was just like, oh gosh, like what is going on here? Now, we clearly know that Kelly is a bone collector too, but she's not as good as Angela. Angela makes it seem like she really cares that they need to talk. Child, she don't give a shit. She just want to have some get back, if you ask me, in my personal opinion. What you saying, Shayla? I need bean footage of this MSG incident. They keep bringing up. It's on YouTube, I think. I think it's on YouTube. Check it out. Charles Oakley, Madison Square Garden. I think you will see it on YouTube. Even if it's a small clip, is there. But with that, Angela ends up inviting Porsha to her investment property, right? And because she said, honey, she ain't about to sit up there and be in my house after she sat up there and made that comment about my man, my man, my man. But I'll invite her to my investment property and they play some tennis. So they end up sitting down. Now, mind you, of course, Porsha called Angela Big Bird. In a confessional, Angela was like, yeah, I'm Big Bird, but you know, this snuffleupagus. This snuffleupagus, you know what I'm saying? I guess she can play her some tennis too. But when I tell you Angela can read her butt off, I really want to know what she was like in high school. Like, did she start getting like this type of shade as she was getting older, or she's always been like this? I definitely want to know what her high school friends say about her. But we find out her daughter was there. We find out that her daughter got married to a woman. And that's making me wonder if that's the reason why her daughter didn't feel comfortable telling her mom. Her mom may not necessarily agree with the lifestyle. And so she just said, for all intents and purposes, I just, for my peace or whatever, I'm going to do this without telling my mom. Makes me wonder, what do y'all think about that? But anyways, moving on. So at that point, they end up sitting down. And literally, of course, Porsha wants to talk about Drew again and talk about how she was trying to sit up there and give up booty for beats. And, you know, at that point, Angela's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyways, let's talk about something else. I spoke to Shamea. And Shamea said that she felt like you didn't want her a part of this group. And Portia's like, that's not true. Like, I literally told her the top housewives that I would want on the show, and Shamea was there. And so at that point, Angela said, yeah, okay, but look, you know, she feels a certain way, and she feels a certain way about your wedding, not coming to, her wedding. And, you know, but she's afraid to say something to you because she doesn't want to be Portia's lapdog. And then Porsha covers her face up with the fan, and she ends up acting like she's crying. Have you ever noticed that every time Porsha act like she's crying or she's sad, no actual real tears come out of her actual like eyes, like none of that? Even when she sat up there and threw a tantrum on the floor about how she embarrassed herself when she sat up there and pulled Kenya after the bullhorn incident, I don't even remember tears coming out of her eyes then. I don't even remember tears coming out of her eyes when she put Phaedra on the spot saying that Phaedra told her what Candy said, and she was acting like she was so hurt by Phaedra setting her up. There was no tears there. She's a fake one. But she sits up there and makes it seem like she's crying, and she was like, I'm just so tired. Like, I'm just so tired. And Angela's like, Porsha. Porsha, are you okay, Porsha? And she was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just go. And then she sits up there, was like, I just don't know how much more I can take. I'm going through a lot. I'm going through a lot. She gets in her Rolls Royce, and she's like so upset by this, right? But you know what it was given for me? Do you know it was given for me? Because you already know I'm about to sit up there and compare this. This is what it was given for me, honey. This is what it was giving. Hold on, y'all. Because it's always technical difficulties with this nonsense. This is what it was giving. It was giving this. Let me know if you can hear it. That's what it was giving, okay? Shout out to the good old Addams family. That's what it was giving. It was giving that she was making it seem like she was really so sad, but she was laughing in the damn car, okay? That's what it was giving. I don't believe not one bit she was hurt at all whatsoever. But again, my opinion on this situation is that neither one of them are really hurt. They're trying to win public opinion at this point, okay? This is a PR war. That's what it is. It's a PR war. But with that, honey, Angela goes in the house. She was like, oh my gosh, she's so hurt. She's so hurt. And I was like, Angela, you another one who probably closed that door and did the same evil laugh because dang on well what you doing, but I love it. I love it. It is giving again that old school Real Housewives of Atlanta, that subtle shade that you don't even know you getting played unless you a smart one. And we clearly know Porsha Underground Railroad is not smart at all whatsoever. Okay, let's just call it what it is. So moving on. So with that being said, honey, they end up having this Porsha pamper party where she tells all of them to come in some good old lingerie so they could take pictures. But the only one who was smart enough to realize what was really going on was Drew. Drew was like, so are we like representing Porsha pamperware or whatever? Because I didn't get no check for this. And I was getting the check for her hair, and I actually made her a lot of money on that. But did I sign something? Did I sign some agreement? Because no, I wasn't aware of that. We are now representing your line. Facts. Because that's exactly what it was, especially based off of this picture right here. That's exactly what it was. She had literally her product right there in front of her. She was right in the middle. Yeah, I would definitely want to sit up there and say, what is this for too? Is this for our own Instagram, or you're trying to use these as promo pictures and I need my money? We all know Drew, as much as she's boring as hell to me, she definitely knows business. Her sister taught her very, very well. So yeah, so at the end of the day, I understood exactly what she was saying with that. Now, before that though, I will say Drew did talk to her life coach about, the made up story that she is thinking that Dennis actually made up. But let me ask y'all this. Do you think Dennis made it up or Porsha made it up? No one has been able to show us these text messages yet. Let's be clear. We haven't seen the text messages, and production is really good with giving us a nasty receipt. Do you understand what I'm saying? A nasty receipt. So in my personal opinion, if we haven't seen the receipts, I would say it doesn't exist. So who do y'all think actually started this? Dennis or Porsha? Y'all let me know. Okay, so Veronica says Dennis. She thinks Dennis started this nonsense. I don't know, y'all, but I feel like until I see the receipts, everybody lying. Now, again, we clearly know that Drew has an issue with lying herself, allegedly, but at the same time, this is coming out of nowhere. This is really coming out of nowhere. And considering the fact that she's going through a divorce right now and she's so big on her public appearance, I just can't see her sitting up there sending him a text message about wanting to give him some bouquet over the production. Like, I don't know. I don't even think Drew would stoop that low. Porsha would, in my opinion, but Drew wouldn't. But y'all let me know about that. But moving on to this so-called pamper party. Of course, Kelly is another bone collector, but she does it in the most desperate way, in my opinion. And so she ends up telling Shamea about what went on when it came to Angela telling her about the situation with Porsha and how pretty much Angela went to Porsha about the situation. And so Shamea already instantly knows that she's caught up in some messy stuff, and rightfully so, because you have no problem being in messy stuff your damn self. So at that point, they are actually doing what I think is called a sound bath, what they were doing. And the girls are pretty much all lying down except for Shamea. Shamea ain't feeling the whole lying down part. She's just like, I'm not into this. So Kelly sees her and ends up going over there. And so she was like, I see you not lying down. And she was like, no. She was like, I'm not lying down. She was like, the lady said that, if I don't feel comfortable and if I don't feel peace, and I don't feel peace right now. Porsha gets up and she's like, shh, shh, shh. And Shamea ends up saying, hell, she probably don't feel peace either. It's probably choking her. She talking about Porsha. So at that point, Kelly tells, like Shamea, that pretty much everything that you told Angela went to Porsha. And she was like, I'm so sorry, girl. No, the hell you not. Because the moment that they actually have the time to talk, Kelly goes into her bag and she's like, I really think Shamea and Porsha need to talk. And I feel like, Porsha, that you won't allow Shamea to be her full potential self. And so Porsha rolling her eyes. Of course, make sure you guys hit the like button on the way in. Porsha rolling her eyes, child. She was like, here we go. Because, of course, Portia's dismissive about everything, but she doesn't want people to be dismissive about her. So while Kelly is saying that, Shamea is like, I ain't said nothing. So am I going to be able to speak? Am I going to be able to say something? And so Shamea is like, I haven't said anything to these women. And at that point, she said, I said to you first, anytime someone brings anything to me about Porsha, I shut it down. She was like, and anything that these women know, I've said it to you first, Porsha, right? So she says, at the end of the day, if they know something, I've already addressed you about it. But then at the same time, they wouldn't even be able to come to me about anything about you because I shut it down instantly. And we clearly know that she does, at least from what we have seen on the show. So at that point, Shamea sits up there and says, I feel like I sit up there and have your back, but it's not reciprocated. And so Porsha was like, how is it not? And I was like, girl, how do you forget that you allowed Phaedra to talk about her in the most vulgar way, making it seem like she was having threesomes and sloppy toppy with Todd and Candy, and you just sat there like you had no defense or nothing to say. So, yeah, she has every right to feel a certain way. Now, whatever happens off camera is different, but one thing about it is Shamea is real quick to try to check someone when it comes to Porsha. She does, from what we have seen. So at that point, Angela, girl, I'm a laugh every time I mention Angela in these scenes because she sits up there like, Shamea, I just feel like you're scared. I feel like you're scared and you just are so scared to talk to Porsha. And Shamea looked like she about to cry, right? Which, by the way, did y'all see that leopard or snake skin outfit that Shamea had on in this episode where like her breast was like looking swollen as all hell, like she had just got a freaking boob job? Did y'all see that? It was so ill-fitting. I was like, Shamea, what the hell are you doing? But anyways, let me go back to the topic. So at that point, literally, Shamea looks like she's about to cry because I think she's more so like, damn, like they really have put everything out there at this point, and now it's about to be a straight up war between me and Porsha on this show. So the wedding comes up, Shamea's wedding, and Porsha says that she did not show up to Shamea's wedding because of the fact that they weren't talking like a month or two before her wedding. And this is her wedding in Kenya. They weren't talking, so she didn't feel like going to the wedding because they weren't on good terms. And Shamea was like, well, this is the first time you brought this up because you mentioned something about a seat issue as to why you didn't come. She was like, yes, I did. I mentioned something about a seat, but that's the real deal on how I felt. And she was like, but I did show up to your traditional wedding in Atlanta. If it was my best friend, I'm going to every wedding. I'm going to every wedding. Even if they weren't talking a month or two before, was it that serious to literally, after years of being in a friendship since you were kids, not go to an important wedding for your BFF? But they never were BFFs. That's just what it is. In my opinion, they was never friends in the first place. But with that, Shamea was like, well, yeah, you didn't tell me anything like that. And she was like, but you know what? It's whatever. She still does not want to really confront Porsha. She still doesn't. It's like she's still holding back. And even Angie was like, they need to talk about this. This is exactly why they need to get it out. This is what they need to talk about. And Shamea is like, you know what, whatever. Like, I feel like it's going to be pointless at this point. Like, I've always given grace, so I don't even know what else to say. And then literally Porsha sits up there and says, thank you for your grace. And Shamea was like, see, and that's what I'm talking about. That was very sarcastic. And so Porsha was like, no, it's all good. Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. It's all good. And then the episode goes off. But Cynthia, before that, says that she hates when circles break up friendships. And because Shamea and Porsha have known each other since they was kids. Baby, that circle didn't break up no friendship. That friendship was broken. I would say that friendship was broken even before TV came into the picture, okay? I think that was a friendship of convenience. Point blank, period. I think they are both just alike. I think they're both messy. After that situation last week with Shamea and laughing at, Porsha saying I should F her husband, everybody is coming for Shamea at this point. No one is looking at Shamea like, she's innocent. She's not innocent. But the reality is, do I feel like she is hurt that Porsha doesn't have her back? Yeah, I think she is. But guess what? Oh, the hell well. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Oh, the hell well, because I think you've known this for a very long time. I think that you understand that you are much more like Porsha than you want to admit. And if you're not, you have been willing to literally sacrifice who you really are just to be friends with Porsha. Is straight bullshit. And you're too grown for it. You are now a wife and a mother, which, by the way, rumor has it, there is trouble in paradise with Shamea's marriage. Go figure that. Go figure that. Yeah, you want to laugh at somebody else's marriage, and then now there's rumors going around that there's something going on with your marriage. Yeah, Shamea, I don't feel bad for you. I don't. You like the mess, you like the drama, and now you are the drama. And now it is literally you versus Porsha. But again, who was the biggest drama queen this episode? Because as far as I see it, both of them were playing victim. Both of them sat up there and was trying to, I think, gain sympathy, not only from the other women, but also from the views that they know they're about to get because they see that camera in their face. This was all about who can gather the best public opinion on the situation. This is a PR war. They don't want each other. They ain't trying to resolve no friendship. Now, some people say they ain't really beefing at all and they're just doing this for the show. I don't necessarily know. I don't know. I truly think there is some type of tension there. I personally don't know if there would have been tension there if Shamea would have never been on the show, though. I feel like if Shamea would have stayed in her place, because Porsha's big about having people stay in their place, meaning Shamea would have never came on the show, even as a friend, they wouldn't be in a situation. Because I think she does have an issue with Shamea's light shining on what she would consider her show. So now they're trying to gather sympathy and trying to get public opinion. Are you team Shamea or are you team Porsha? So my question to you, crew, what team are you? Team Shamea or team Porsha? I'm team neither. I'm team Angela. because she's great for this show. But I would like to know what y'all think. But as far as I see it, they both are playing victim, and this is a PR war. Who had the best performance? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is trying to get the reality TV drama queen Emmy? Because this is some bullshit. I didn't feel sorry for neither one of them at all whatsoever. Britt is another one who's a runner-up with her playing victim. Even on this episode, she was sitting up there playing victim, talking about how her and Angela, she thought things were resolved. And then, of course, she's trying to pump up her husband, trying to make it seem like she had nothing to do with that interaction and that encounter at the Cynthia Bailey barbecue. So this is what I'm saying. They all want to play victim and try to gather sympathy, but social media is relentless. And apparently they going around pulling receipts on Shamea. And apparently Shamea and Marlo at one point got into it. For those who've been watching every season, y'all let me know. Apparently Shamea and Marlo got into it when Marlo one time said, "What is your problem, Shamea? You act like I effed your man or mess with your family," or whatever the case may be. And they said Shamea went off on Marlo, even saying that you act like I effed your man or effed your husband. She went off on that. But, apparently she trying to make it seem like it's no big deal what Porsha said, but she went off on Marlo seasons back about what Marlo said. So, Shamea, the problem is that you're getting exposed love with social media. And that tells me right there, they're finding you not to be likable anymore because of how you're willing to literally show your ass for the sake of Porsha. Or maybe just show who you really are. Say, yes, Angela, there's no way I'm laughing if someone says they should F someone's husband, friend, or not. I don't get down like that. If it's about mines, we throwing hands. Exactly. Because your moral and your integrity should come first. It should. Especially when she has her own husband. So that's why I'm loving the chess move that Angela played in this situation. It was that subtle bone collector shade and all of that stuff and stirring the pot that we used to love in the golden reality TV era. She said, if you mess with my man, I got a plan. Point blank, period. And that's exactly what she did, and tried to make it seem like she actually cared about these girls. She don't give a damn about them women. She don't. She made it very clear in that text message she sent to Shamea that clearly we are on different levels as far as morals and integrities are concerned, but you be blessed. That be blessed means you better watch yourself, because you don't know when I'm coming for you and how I'm coming for you, but I'm coming for you. And I think Angela is patient, and she playing a smooth game to sit up there and destroy and conquer at the same time, honey. And I'm for it, because Angela really hasn't come for anyone unprovoked. Every time she's come for someone, it's because they've been trying her and have gotten blatantly disrespectful, and she had to check them. So I really don't blame her at all whatsoever. I am Team Angela right now, and I am hoping that I don't regret saying that, because anytime I say I'm Team somebody, they end up effing up, and I'm like, screw them. I'm hoping she continues what she's been doing. She keeps it classy, she keeps it sassy, but you can definitely tell she a Chicago woman who is about her business, and she is not for the nonsense. And even when she reads down, she is very calm. She don't let these women get under her skin. You gotta love it. But with that being said, you guys, what did you think about this episode? And literally, Porsha said, y'all trying to break up our friendship, or y'all trying to be messy in our friendship. Child, bye. Look, at the end of the day, Porsha, I would like to know who you are really a friend to. And the same thing with Shamea. We don't, now that I think about it, Porsha ain't never shown any friends, and neither have Shamea. They've only shown each other. Shamea's version of her friends are her sisters. Same thing with Porsha. You know what I'm saying? And Porsha done got into it with her sister on the show. So this is what I'm saying. They more alike than they not. Shamea just knows how to hide it well. And I think deep down, though, Shamea is more loyal to the mess than Porsha is. Porsha will throw Shamea under the bus in a heartbeat. Shamea would try to stay as loyal as possible. And for the life of me, I don't get it unless she just truly has low self-esteem or there's a lot of tea that they can expose on each other and they not trying to go there. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But anywho, with that being said, you guys, thank you guys for listening. Please make sure you hit the like button. For those who are playing the replay game, hit the like button on the way in. And with that being said, I will see you on my next video. Toodles.